guys, and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can make your very own macrame plant holder. Now macrame is a great way of kind of knotting together string to make really unique kind of hanging pots that you can put all around your house. So if you're like me and you have loads of plants and your shelves are already pretty full, these plant hangings are a great way to kind of have an additional plant without taking up too much additional space. So they're very clever. And for this DIY, you're not going to need a lot of things. You're going to need a plant pot of some sort, so you can play around with this. I just got this one from a charity shop for £1. I just thought it looked really cool. It's almost like a subtle pine cone effect. I thought it was quite pretty. So that's the pot I'm using. And then you're going to need a load of string or the medium that you're going to be using to tie the knots. Some people have even done this with like old t-shirts that you can cut into strips. So there's a lot of ways you can make these, but you're going to need about 32 meters worth of whatever you're using. So I'm just going for kind of typical string. I will link everything down below so you can get supplies if you need it. So yeah, you're going to need about 32 meters of that. And then you're going to need a ring of some sort, so curtain rings work, keyring hooks work. I've just got like a wooden ring. You can just buy bags of these, they're very cheap, from any like hobby supply place. And then you're just going to need scissors and a tape measure of some sort. So step one is cutting 8 4-meter lengths of your string. I find the easiest way to do it is to just get like a meter on a tape measure, put it on your floor, and then you kind of fold it 4 times the string and then cut it. So you should now have 8 4-meter long kind of piles of string. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach them to the wooden circle. So to attach the string to the hoop, what you're going to need to do is first like fold it in half. So just find both ends of your string, put them together, and then just find the top point. And then it's easier if you have something to hang this off. So I'm just going to use my, I think someone called this my industrial crane that I have on my desk. Now this is actually a light, but I'm just going to poke that loop through. It's going to work. And then you just put the 2 ends through it like that. So I believe this is called a lark head knot. So I'll show you up close in a second as well. And then you just pull it tight and it should look something like that. And you're going to want to do this for all 8 of your 4-meter string. So it turns every 4 meter into 2 meters. So the next step is to almost bring together all these strings here, and to do this we're just kind of going to do like almost like a spiral knot around it. So just take a little bit more string. So I'm going to cut about 1 meter of my string. So I've moved onto my globe just so I have a kind of longer point to actually tug on my strings like this. So taking the extra piece of string, poke it up, make a loop, and then just start wrapping that string around all 16 of your other strings. So it sounds confusing, but I promise it's not. So you want to keep that end of the string pointing upwards. So you can see mine there. And you're just going to wrap your string around. And you can kind of adjust all your other strings so that they're a nice even length at the top. It doesn't have to be overly tight or loose. You can kind of have the freedom to do it however you choose. You can also make this as long or short as you want. So I'm going to make mine probably about 5 centimeters in length. Just make sure you can still see your loop that you made initially underneath, as you'll see in a minute why that's important. So when you're coming to the end of that, you're just going to put your leftover string through the loop, like that, and then you're going to pull that end and you're going to pull the end you left at the top. So what it should do is just neatly pull the loop into what you've created. Ta-da! If you have extra string, just make sure it's the right piece of string. I'm just going to trim mine so it doesn't get in the way of the knots that we're going to tie in a minute. And then I'm just going to almost like hide the end of that just up inside the string I've just made. So I'm just literally poking it up. The next knots that we're going to add are these kind of spiral ones. So I've already done one section. So this is using 4 of your strings. So you're going to end up making 4 of these kind of spiral columns across all of these. So I'm going to show you now how to replicate this. The first step is to separate a cluster of 4 of the strings and then just kind of leave the rest. So I've got 4 here, and what you want to do is you want to kind of choose the 2 outer 2 and then leave 2 in the center. And then now what you're going to do is taking this left one, you're going to fold it over the 2 in the middle, and then taking the right one, you're going to go over the top of it like that and under the 2, and then pull it through the loop up here. And then you're still holding the 2 in the middle. You're just going to tighten that knot and kind of place it not super tight at the top, just roughly where you would like it to sit. So doing that again, you hold the 2 center ones, you take the left hand one over, like that, you take the right hand one over, then you put it under and through the loop on the left. And then you just hold the 2 middle ones again, and you just tighten that knot, like so. And you're just going to keep doing this. The first one's always a little bit more fiddly, just as they can move more. But you'll kind of get the hang of how to hold your string after you've done a few. And if you've ever done Scooby-Doos when you were younger, this might be bringing back a lot of memories. I know I used to do these knots all the time on the playground. So you're just going to tighten them at the top like that. And you'll just start to see your spiral forming. So just hold the 2 in the middle, left one over, right one over that, and then through the loop. Have something like this now, so they always remind me of DNA structures, this sort of knot. And when you're tying them, don't feel like you have to kind of always keep the left one in the left hand and the right one in the right one. If you need to twist with the knot, you'll probably see when I'm tying them, you can flip the knot around just for ease. It won't affect the appearance of the knot whatsoever. So do that to the rest of the strings, and we should have 4 of these. The next step, we're adding these kind of square knots further down. So I've done these in clusters of 3. The technique is very similar to the twisty ones at the top here, but just has a slight difference, which is why they don't twist. So I'm going to show you now how we achieve these, and you should then have 4 columns that kind of look like this with these little clusters. First step is to just separate the one you're working on. So you want to drop down a similar amount to each of them. Now I don't measure, I just kind of roughly do it. So it's about 3 centimeters down. And the first knot you're going to do is exactly the same to the ones you've been doing. So you're just going to do it like that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the right hand strand, cross it over, put the left strand over the right strand, and then pull it through that hole there. So it's the same technique, you're just now alternating left and right so that it can't twist. So just remember to alternate left and right and it should stay nice and flat. But even if it starts spiraling, it won't look bad. So you can either work with it or just undo it and try again. So you should have something that looks like this. So 3 intervals of this kind of square knot, just like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to join these strands together to actually make something that a pot can sit into. So for this next step, you're going to want to take 2 of these kind of clusters of string, and you're going to take 2 strands from the left-hand one and 2 strands from the right-hand one. So you should have something like this. So using these 4 strands, we're going to go down about 15 centimeters from the cluster knots and make another cluster of square knots. So you should now have something like this, where you've got a cluster of those square knots joining together 2 of those, and then you'll have these 2 free as well. So now do that with all of them and it should join them all together.
Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine.
So you should now have something that looks like this. So they should all be joined together just like that. So now we're at the final stage of this plant hanging. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go to the base beneath our 4 final knots. I'm going to go down probably about 3 centimeters and just pinch it like this. Then I'm going to take 1 of the 16 strands and doing the same knot like we did at the top, I'm going to put the end just above like that, make a loop, and then I'm just going to wrap this around, and actually it's still attached. So to make my life easier, I'm just going to cut this strand like this. And so now I'm just going to wrap this around. If I can find it. There it is. So just wrap it around nice and tightly a few times without losing that loop or the end at the top. So just keep wrapping it. You can wrap it as much or as little as you want. This is just to secure the base of the pot. I'm just going to put it now through the loop, and then I'm just going to pull the top strand, and you can see it's just going to pull that strand into the rest of the knot. And then you can finish it off, so I'm just going to cut the excess off here and just kind of like tuck that into the rest of the strands. And again, I'll do that with the base one. and then just tuck it in. So you should have a neat kind of wraparound knot like that. So let's put our pot in and see what it looks like. So I'm just going to open this up and just slot it in like that. So it already looks fabulous, and you can see it's very secure in there. You know, that can hang quite happily now without falling out. So now we're just going to finish off the tassels at the base here. So you can cut them whatever length you want. You can add more designs. So I might in the future do some more twisty ties on this like we did at the top here. So I think I'm going to leave mine this length for now, but feel free to like cut them, you can fray them. So if you go to once you've cut them, you can always kind of unravel them. So it'll make them very tassel-like, if that focuses for you. So you can have them short, you can have them long, you can do more knots. So play around with it and have some fun. And again goes for the gaps that you've left in between your knots here. Depending how far you want your pot to hang, you can play around with it. So there you have the finished product. And as you can see, it's all using very similar, quite simple knots, but it turns out fabulous. So that's how the top looks. And then you can see all the intermittent knots, and then it holds your pot like that. So I cut this tassel all to the same length, and I think I'm gonna probably fray all the tassels, but I might also put some more knots in them. I don't know yet, I haven't decided, but how fabulous is that? So you can either have it as an extra next to your shelf, or you can give it its own spot in your house. That is all I got for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed following along with this craft, and hopefully you'll make your own one at some point. But like and subscribe for more, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.